Hello, guys. Welcome to Hatchfoot Economics, Hatchfoot, and it's your girl Connie. And welcome, welcome, welcome. This is my special edition. You guys have been asking me for this, so thank you so much for your patience. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good night, and welcome to all. You know what to do already. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications. And if you're new, welcome, welcome. This is the economics of weight loss. Social economics. Y'all been waiting for this video. I posted it before. It got taken down. I don't know. I didn't even save a backup. I had to do the whole thing. So, guys, this is about the economics of weight loss. As we know, we lovely, gorgeous black women, we struggle with weight. And I think the way that it's approached is all wrong. You're talking to someone that lost 120 pounds and I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And to make a long story short, it makes you fat. It makes you prone to obesity. And on top of that, I have endometriosis. I had several surgeries. So I am a big risk for obesity. I was 254 pounds at my heaviest, and I stand only at 5'7". Currently, I am 5'7", 153 pounds. I'm looking to lose 20 or so more. So I know a lot about fitness, nutrition. I'm actually in the process as we speak of becoming a certified personal trainer. That is my passion, to educate other Black women. So what are we looking at right now? We see some sisters holding a baby with some breasts, and this is a state of obesity. So this is a special report. Again, as you guys know, I put all my links in the description box, and please make sure to check the links. And this is a special page because I'm going to introduce you guys for the first time to my fitness page. I've had it for years. This is my best weight loss and motivation page ever. And I have over 1,600 members on this page. So I've been had this page, son. I've been had this page. And it's a great page. I have training regimens on there. I have full workouts on there. I'm a big believer in Beachbody because that's something I use to work out at home when I was traveling. They have Beachbody streaming. I'm a big believer in that. So if you can't get to the gym, even if you can't get to the gym on one day, it's a good backup to have. I'm actually thinking about becoming a Beachbody, agent on the side because I really believe in their products. It work. P90X will kick your ass. Insanity will kick your ass. All their products work. So I'm a living testament to it. I used to work with brides inside of a salon, and I used to suggest all these tapes and stuff to lose weight. If you've ever used Insanity or P90X, you could leave your testimony. That stuff kicks your ass. So anyway, the description for or the link for this page will be in the description box. And it's a page you can join. Just request and I will add you guys there. If you're part of Hasses But Life, if you're part of Hasses Economics, you have free access to this page. Just, again, request and let's get that popping. This is a great page. You guys going to like it. I do want to let you know it is unisex. Men and women are on this page and everyone's there. So definitely, definitely, definitely. Okay, guys. So you want to go here, current statistics, inequities in a range of factors. So they're talking about African American obesity. And it shows that African American adults are nearly 1.5 times as likely to be obese compared with white adults. Approximately 47.8% of African Americans are obese, including 37% of men and over 50% of women. So you can see right there, there's a disparity right there. So men and women, women always tend to gain weight, but for the men to only be 37.1, which is very high, but more than half of all African American women are obese. So right there, when I read this, I knew there was some type of health disparity that's more than food. That's more than food. There's a deeper issue. And I'm going to go through it with you. I'm going to go through the economics, the social economics of weight loss. So compared with 32% of whites, including 32.4% of men and 32.8% of women, more than 75% of African Americans are overweight or obese, including 69% of men and 82% of women, compared with only 67% of whites, including 71% of men and 63% of women. So it's funny, in white men, their obesity rates are lower. So that's kind of boggling, right? Because normally we say, oh, women tend to have higher rates anyway. So again, so you can look here on the chart. So African American obesity overweight, you can see 69%, and you can see women 82%. So it's really bad. So overweight and obesity rates also tend to be higher among African American children, when you compare them to white children. So even our children are fatter, with obesity rates increasing faster at ages with higher rates of severe obesity. All right, so you can just look at these statistics here. But what is causing this? You know, look at this here. Obesity in white girls, you have 15.6%. Obesity in African American girls, 20.5%. So I want to break this down for you. Go get some coffee. Go get something to sit down and talk to Connie, because I'm kind of shocked that this nation and that us as a community don't realize something is wrong. Yes, of course the food matters, but it's deeper than food. It's deeper. For instance, when I was going through my weight loss, I struggled as I left my house to find healthy food. In Black communities, there's no ordinances that protects us from being bombarded with excessive amounts of bad food. And it's just basic mathematics. If 100% of the stores around you are Burger King, Popeye, Papa John's, McDonald's, Popeyes, I said Popeyes twice, my greedy ass. Uh, um, what else? Bojangles, KFC. If you have no access to healthy options, that's going to be really hard, guys. That's going to be almost impossible unless you make an intent every single day. And that's what I had to do. But the average person doesn't do that, and it's not affordable. I have an income that's very, very comfortable, where I can shop at Whole Foods, where I can order Peapod. I had to come to the cold realization not a lot of people do that. So right here, you can see the first reason, and I want to make sure you guys can see this. Hopefully, in the screen capture, you can see it. But right there, it says access to affordable, healthy food. Lower income and poverty correlate strongly with an increase in obesity. So you have to hear that. Lower income and poverty correlates strongly with an increase in obesity, since less nutritious, calorie-dense foods are often less expensive than healthier foods. African American families have earned $1 for every $2 earned by white families for the past 30 years. More than 38% of African American children under the age of 18 and 42% of children under the age of 5 live below the poverty line. And more than 12% of African American families live in deep poverty, at least at less than 50% of the federal poverty threshold. So you have more than 12% of African American families living in deep poverty at less than 50% of the federal poverty threshold. So they're living 50% less than what they consider poverty. 1 in 4 African American families are food insecure, not having consistent access to adequate food due to lack of money or other resources, compared with only 11% of white households. Okay, families in predominantly minority and low income neighborhoods have limited access to supermarkets and fresh produce. A study of selected communities found that only 8% of African American residents lived in areas with one or more supermarkets, compared with 31% of white residents. When compared with other neighborhoods, without regard to income, predominantly Black neighborhoods have the most limited access to supermarkets and to healthier foods such markets sell. According to 2013 YRBS, 11.3% of Black youths did not eat vegetables during the week, compared to 4.5% of whites. Black high school students are twice as likely not to eat breakfast daily compared with their white peers, which could be a contributing factor to less healthy eating patterns overall, weight gain, and poorer school performance. So you can see here, African American children living below the poverty line. So guys, it's not just about marriage. It's not just about money or having a guy with a Bugatti or a Ferrari. This is a health issue. This is your life. This is I'm gonna take you guys on a hip hop ride. Hip hop ride. It's an old song. But this is important because the socioeconomics of weight loss, you have to understand this, because I went through it and I had a decent income. I was able to divert and go to Whole Foods. I was able to divert and go to farmers market. But once I became aware, you can do it too, but it's going to take a conscious, consistent effort. It's going to take compassion and love and a community and a circle. You might have to form your own little network of people who think just like you, because I completely get it. I remember I used to starve when I couldn't get in contact with healthy food, when I used to travel back and forth through the airports and there were no healthy options, no salads, no sushi, no sandwiches. I used to wait because I'm like, yo, working on that treadmill, son, be killing me. I ain't trying to get rid of all this work. Like the treadmill is like prison for me. So seeing how hard it was to burn calories really changed my perspective on what I put into my mouth. So let me continue. Okay. Americans living in communities with one or more supermarket. Only 8% of blacks live in a community with one or more supermarket compared with 31% of whites. All right. And higher exposure to marketing of less nutritious foods. You know how we always say they always got black people in fast food restaurants, they always got black people in commercials. It's not your imagination. You are targeted. Each day, African American children see twice as many calories advertised in fast food commercials as white children. The products most frequently marketed to African Americans are high calorie, low nutrition foods and beverages. Billboards and other forms of outdoor advertisements, which often promote foods of low nutritional value, are 13 times denser, 13 times denser in predominantly African American neighborhoods than white neighborhoods. And before you guys say, y'all gotta make better choices, do you understand advertising is a mental thing? There's a reason why Nike hires Kobe Bryant. There's a reason why Gatorade hires, Tom Brady. There's a reason why, people pay to put athletes. Advertisements work. They're mental subliminals. Advertisements work. Sometimes I'm not even craving lobster, and I'll see a Red Lobster commercial, and then my greedy ass is like, "Y'all want some lobster?" Advertisements work. That's why people pay millions of dollars just for a few seconds on the Super Bowl. So before you dismiss that and say choices, 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 if you're submerged in a community that's purposely lacking nutritious foods, if you're submerged in a community that purposely has no supermarkets, then on top of that being in that physical realm, you're also exposed to a bombardment of negative marketing with less nutritious foods. It's hard. And the statistics show it. They're eating just as bad as we are, but we're just disproportionately unhealthier because these things add up. It's not just one thing, it's a layer of things. So let's continue. All right. Limited access to safe places to be physically fit. Achieving a high energy balance also requires engaging in sufficient amounts of physical activity. As of 2010, African Americans were 70% less likely to engage in physical activity than whites. According to 2013, 21.5% of Black youth did not participate in at least 1 hour daily physical activity during the day. Children in neighborhoods that lacked parks, playgrounds, or recreation centers have a 20 to 45% greater risk of becoming overweight. National obesity studies have shown that access to public parks, public schools, and green spaces is much lower in neighborhoods occupied by African Americans. Safety concerns also limit outdoor activities among African American children. Sidewalk in African American communities are 38 times more likely to be in poor conditions, according to a recent study. How African American mothers perceive neighborhood safety, and specifically the threat of violence, strongly influence the amount of daily outdoor play in which their daughters participate. So the solution to this could be indoor, get a treadmill, or actually taking your children out of the area, going to Prospect Park, going to Central Park, actually making time, or taking your children traveling out. This is a Black community issue. Your neighborhood is so unsafe because you guys are making it unsafe. So that's pretty common. I remember growing up in Bushwick, East New York, Brooklyn, and they're absolutely right. There's no way in hell my mom was letting me out the block to just go jogging or ride my bike. That's a serious issue. And because we know we're limited outside, we have to make an extra effort to go to the YMCA, to join a gym. Planet Fitness is $10 now. Anyone can join. To have a treadmill, have an elliptical, have those things in your house. So let's just go down here. And so this is a great graph that shows why inequities in obesity rates matter. Okay? The rates of deaths from heart disease and stroke are almost twice as high among African Americans and whites. More than 80% of people with type 2 diabetes are overweight. African American adults are twice as likely as white adults to have been diagnosed with diabetes by a physician. The animal medical costs associated with obesity have been estimated as high as $190 billion. accounting for 21% of all medical spending. Socioeconomic, son, high rates of chronic illnesses, which in many cases are preventable, are the biggest drivers of healthcare costs and reduced worker productivity. A study by the Urban Institute found that differences in rates among Latinos and African Americans and whites for a set of preventable diseases like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and renal disease and stroke, many of which are often related to obesity, cost the healthcare system $23.9 billion annually. Based on current trends by 2050, this is expected to double to $50 billion a year. So pause. This is crazy. It would actually cost our government less to give everybody a free gym membership. This shit is wild, son. This is some wild shit, son. This is wild. Okay? Look at this. Obesity related healthcare costs for preventable diseases. 2014, 23.9 billion, and 2050 projected to be $50 billion. If this is not a socioeconomic problem, if this is not the socioeconomic cost of weight loss, what is? You're talking about the billions, not millions, billions. $50 billion is half of 1 trillion. This is crazy. And not only is it cost, people are dying. So let's continue this report, okay? Eliminating health inequalities, closing the gaps in health differences by race and ethnicity could lead to reduce in medical expenditures of $54 billion to $61 billion a year and recover $13 billion annually due to work loss as a result of illnesses and around $250 billion per year due to premature deaths, according to a study 2003-2006. So you see all these little numbers. If you can see those little oranges are all citation. So you can actually scroll down to see where the citations come from. So these are the policy recommendations. All public and private investments in community prevention should directly involve local communities. Equity should be a criterion and measure for grants. Okay, support should be increased at the federal, state, and local levels to address racial and ethnic inequalities in obesity. Police should require that health programs include culturally sensitive communications and languages. Strategies and programs need to be developed in conjunction with and led by community leaders and members. Increase grant programs encouraging minority business owners to open grocery stores. Standards should be set to limit the amount of advertising of foods and beverages of low nutritional value. And I really like to increase the grant program. So if you guys are interested in opening a business, we can inquire and see if we as people of color can open grocery stores and make some money and provide healthier options. So let's go right here. So one thing that they didn't cover was the stress, because obviously Black women are disproportionately heavier than our Black male partners. So what's causing that? Can stress cause weight gain? So this is from WebMD. All right, this is a medical website. So you're having problems at work or home, you're stressed, and it's beginning to show in more ways than one. You've noticed a bulge around your midsection that wasn't there before. Where are these extra pounds coming from? Stress could be the culprit. It plays a role in weight gain. While it can make you less of an appetite at first, long-term stress can actually boost your hunger. So I'm not going to go into the whole thing. Again, if you're interested in this article, like I always do, check the description box. All these articles are going to be there. And again, guys, this is a serious issue. Because if you're stressed out, you're a single mom, you're overworking, you're working 2 jobs, you got relationship stress, you got job stress, and you're depressed because, you don't feel good. It's a cycle, a vicious cycle. And by the time this video is done, I want you guys to realize we're not that bad. If we're getting stressed out, if we're falling ill, who are we stressing out? A lot of times people say Black women are horrible, and I hear it all the time in every circle, how we're vicious to each other. And you know what, guys? We're not the only people, and we're not the only one, but obviously we're not the worst because we're not causing anybody else to have stress. I don't see nobody else dropping dead. I don't see no one else getting disproportionately fat. We obviously are absorbing a lot of mental and physical stress on our bodies, and it's actually killing us. And here's the receipts. Here's the receipts. Okay, so let's go over here. All right, stress, health, and African American women, a Black History Month notation. So this talks about stress, health, and African American women. So listen to this. According to solid research, historically African American women are particularly vulnerable to impacts of race-related stress. given their socially constructed identities as African Americans as women. So we have two things to deal with as women. These findings are consistent with the hypothesis that the hypothesis that racial discrimination is a chronic stressor that can negatively impact the cardiovascular health of African Americans through pathogenic process associated with serious negative reactive changes in blood pressure and heart rate. So you know how people say law of attraction is not real? That's science. Stress is affecting the body, the negative energy, the negative feelings, the negative emotions, the microaggressions, which is all negative, is actually killing us. So listen to this. African American women report more frequent encounters with everyday unfair treatment than Caucasian women. African American women who live in the city report a greater number of acute life events, stressors, such as divorce, marriage, job loss, etc., than Caucasian women. It's no surprise that socioeconomic status, everyday experiences with unfair treatment, and acute life events such as a marriage dissolving makes a significant contribution in differences in women's health. So pause. Negativity can kill you. I'm going to say it again. Negativity can kill you. Even if you're being negative or you're absorbing negativity, the stress is toxic on the body. So it talks about coping with stress. All right. Black women appear to handle stress somewhat differently from men or white women. Men are more likely to do battle with whoever or whatever is causing stress, or they simply remove themselves from the situation. Caucasian women seem more likely to find stress relief by devoting their time to children or seeking support from friends and family. According to Angela Barnett, Black women's stress responses are intriguing. We tend befriend men and keep it in. All right, so it's not good. So you can read the rest of this article. It's a great article from Huffington Post, and a lot of the citations come from well-founded sites, facts. So here's your sources down here. Okay, so it's not like crappy stuff. Psychology of Women Quarterly, 2011. Discrimination, unfair treatment, relationships, and cardiovascular reactivity among African American, European women. This is all like legitimate health psychology articles. So let's go to the next one. Fact sheet, health disparities. All right. So we're going to see down here. All right here, the role of chronic stressors in health disparities among racial ethnic groups. So racial and ethnic minorities have health issues that are worse overall than the health of white Americans. Health disparities may stem from economic determinants, education, geography, neighborhood, environment, and lower quality care. Inadequate access to care and inability to navigate the system, provider ignorance bias, and or stress. Studies examining the role of social and biological stress on health suggest a link between socioeconomic status and ethnic disparities in stress and health. Okay, some ethnical racial groups are more economically disadvantaged and be more susceptible to stress related issues. Okay, perceived discrimination at the workplace, African Americans, stress due to the experience of racism can contribute to adverse birth outcomes. Stress due to experiences of racism can contribute to adverse birth outcomes. And there's lately been a boom of Black women dying in child labor. It's pretty bad. Perceived discrimination has been shown to continue to contribute to mental health disorders among African American women and men. Okay, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Socioeconomic status and environmental stress have been found to contribute to many health disparities among ethnical racial groups. This is not a joke, guys. This is something we need to call to attention because stress kills. All right, and this is from the American Psychological Association. Again, link will be in the description box. Let's go to the next one. Racism and stress killing Black women. So the reason why I'm talking about this, I know you guys see my channel, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. I love Black women. I care about us, I support us, I defend us, and it's because I know the facts. I know we're not perfect, but there's no other race on this planet that can say, Black women stress me out so bad, they're literally putting us in the grave. Because we're not putting each other in the grave. That's not what's happening. We're having stress at work, we're having stress in relationships, we're having stress just socially, economically, financially. So it's not us as Black women stressing each other out to the grave. It's the community, it's the careers, it's the lack of funds, it's just everything. and we're literally dying. Okay, so right here you can see in focus groups, Black women were more likely to report higher levels of social network distress, a form of psychological distress that results from stress experience of family, close friends, and their male counterparts. So, racism and gender bias is killing Black women, literally, according to scholars and healthcare advocates. During an online admission that capped a week-long series dedicated to raising the awareness about the many challenges Black women and girls face living in the US, activists, scholars, and stakeholders addressed the critical need to improve the health outcomes of Black women. The myriad forms of marginalization that we experience on a daily basis takes a toll on our health. All right, said Kimberly Crenshaw, the founder of African American Policy Forum, a think tank that advances racial justice, gender equality, and human rights. Um, Although white women had a higher incident rate of breast cancer, Black women were more than likely to die from it. The new rate of HIV infections among Black women was 20 times that higher of white women. Through my many experiences and stress, the stress that Black women experience is different. It's constant, it's cumulative, it's often lifelong, and it's often invisible. Admitting that Black women are not okay is not a source of shame, it's a cause for intervention. And that cost is the slow deterioration of our bodies. One of the unique aspects of Black women's stress experience has to do with the caretaker role they take on. In focus groups, Black women were more likely to report higher levels of social network distress, and, it's just crazy. The lifestyle requires constant like psychological and biological adaptation to stress. So this is acknowledgement, guys. This is why I talk about the law of attraction. This is why I talk about positivity. This is why I talk about if things aren't serving you, walk away. And when you walk away, stop talking about it. Don't bring it with you. Lot's wife looked back. Remember we talked about that in my other talks? That God was like, yo, I'm going to bomb the whole city. Take your wife, take your kids, and leave, but don't look back. And what happened? They was all running out. God was doing his thing, destroying the city. You like how I tell Bible stories? Mad modern. And Lot's wife decided to be nosy. And she looked back. And she turned into what? A pillar of salt. So even if you're not Christian, I am, but you don't even got to be Christian. The whole aspect of that story shows you what happens when you look back. Even though she physically left that situation, she looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt and she can't move. Everybody else just ran. And a lot of us, we leave the badness in our lives, relationships, jobs, even neighborhoods, but we still emotionally are still there. We're still looking back. And just like Lot's wife, we turn to a pillar of salt and it's killing us. So if you leave something, get therapy. No shame in that. I've gotten therapy. Nothing wrong with talking to a professional. You can still do life coaching. You can still talk to your favorite person, but make sure you get professional life coaching. Somebody that is a doctor, somebody that is a psychologist, somebody that's a psychiatrist. No shame in that. So you can physically remove yourself physically and emotionally. So you can do both. So you can have your life coach, you can have your speeches, you could talk to me. But if I see that you're suffering from wounds and conflictions from the inside, I'm definitely gonna, suggest that you see a professional and you could still work with me. But racism and stress is killing us. And there's no other female demographic on this planet who could say Black women are killing us. We can't even say that about each other. So we need love. We need compassion. We need gentleness. We need understanding. We need to be approached differently. We don't need people around us that know that we are used to be speaking to like trash and take advantage of us and speak to us like trash too. You have no idea the mental fragility that some Black women are walking around with. And a smile and a good morning could mean the whole difference between you being nasty and you just keeping it real and being too blunt. You can hurt someone. So definitely, right here. How racism may cause Black mothers to suffer the death of their infants. All right, so this is really sad. All right, so this is about, I talked about this before, where Black women are dying in childbirth. So it's crazy. Black babies in the United States die at just over 2 times the rate of white babies in the first year of life. This is crazy. The U.S. Centered for Disease Control and Prevention, for every 1,000 live births, 4.8 white infants die in the first year. For Black babies, the number is 11.7. Rates of Black infant deaths more than double white infant deaths. That's crazy. That's a lot. So, what's the solutions? You guys know I like to end with solutions. What can we do right now? You can do mindfulness meditation. This is from Harvard Health Publishing. You can do meditation. I have a page called The Laws of the Enchantress, which is going to be about sexual healing, sensual healing, feminine healing, and how to lose weight and be successful, be confident. If you're interested in that page, check the description box. It should be there. It's a private page. It's free to join. Um, it's going to be a combination of like seduction, sensuality, because a lot of Black women are out of touch with feeling sexy, especially if they're overweight. And that's actually a source of stress. Sexual health is tied to mental health. And a lot of us are celibate, a lot of us aren't having sex, which is great. But on the other hand, are you celibate because you're being asked out? You're being coveted, you're being adored, and you're making a choice? Or are you celibate because ain't nobody asking you? It's natural to be courted. It's natural to be desired. It's natural to be spoiled. And these are all simple things you can do to help your stress. But also, there's an article on mindlessness meditation. So I meditate twice a day. I got many meditations during the day. Like I said, I can't make your life perfect just by hearing one video, but I can definitely show you how to manage that stress on a daily basis. And again, this is my weight loss page that you're more than welcome to join. It's called the best weight loss and motivation page ever. And weight loss is also a form of stress reduction, going to the gym, walking on the treadmill, catching some sun. And there's so much information on this page, over 1,600 people. Definitely join this page. And then we have this one right here as well. This is called A Better Balance. And this is another way that I'm being proactive. I'm part of this movement to end unequal pay for Black women, because Black women have the lowest pay, even lower than white women. And we have to confront racism and the maternal wage gap. So if you're interested in actually knowing your rights, joining the campaign, and become a part of this movement, which I support, you definitely can check this out. They have cases for women and stuff like that. And here, oops, that one just decided to say, oh snap. So at the last page, I am, as you guys know, a human resource director. I deal specifically with EEOC, FMLA, ADA, all those little laws, Title 7, discrimination laws. And these are all the discriminations that you can have: age, disability, equal pay, genetic information, harassment, national origin, pregnancy, race, color, retaliation, sex, sexual harassment. Everything I just said is protected by federal law. If you're having problems at work, if you think your rights have been violated, I actually help people write EEOC files so they can file and get their claim and possibly go ahead and sue with the EEOC, or get a right to sue letter and sue with a private lawyer. This is what I do. So if you need help with that, you can contact me as well. All right, guys, so that's it. I just want to make sure that I do my part, let you guys know the truth, and there's solutions out there. But I think if you don't know the challenges, you can't know the solutions. So right now, we know the challenges: eating healthier, avoiding fast food traps. That's what they are. Not paying attention to those commercials as much, being aware that they're targeting you, making an effort to get daily exercise, your children daily exercise. Do what you got to do. Take them to Prospect Park, take them to Central Park. Managing your stress, being aware that we will have daily stress, meditating. If you don't know anything about meditation, you can talk to me. I do law of attraction coaching. I love the page You Are Creators. That's a great page. It's called You Are Creators. It's on YouTube. I'll put the link here. And just, being proactive and doing what we can do, loving each other, supporting each other, hugging each other if we're comfortable. And that's why you see I'm so crazy about Black women, because this is real shit. This is people dying. This is the criminal disease center. This is people, us, Black women, being affected. And we can do better. We can do better for each other. And once we start treating each other well, I believe the world will be forced to follow suit. All right, guys, thank you for listening. And that's it. Please like and subscribe and check those links to join those pages.